Hello everyone, learn mathematics with Bookem. Our topic today is converting fraction to decimal and also from decimal to percentage, and this class is applicable for grade 2 to grade 6. Grade 2 to grade 6, that is from year 5 to year 10. So now converting fractions to decimal is the first one we're doing. Then after converting fraction to decimal, we'll convert from decimal to percentage. Okay, so let's start. Before we convert from fraction to decimal, firstly, what is a fraction? A fraction consists of two numbers in which contains the denominator and the numerator. For example, now 1/2. This is a fraction, and this one is called the numerator, and the one down, which is the 2, is called the denominator. So we have to understand that concept before we now move to what decimal is. Whenever you have a fraction like this, a fraction like this can be converted to decimal. That is, if the numerator cannot divide the denominator, so we have a decimal, so it can easily be converted to decimal. The decimal can also be converted to percentage. Okay, so now let's do the first example. The first example here is 3 divided by 4, that is 3/4. So what is the answer? Okay, to get our answer, so the first thing we have to do is I'm going to teach you a method that you can use to divide a fraction. This is the method. Okay, so you can draw something like this. This shows a divisibility sign. You can draw something like this, and you are going to put the bigger number outside, which is the denominator. This is the denominator, and you put the smaller number, which is the numerator, put it inside like this. Okay, so now you say 4 divided by 3. So when you say 4 divided by 3, it is impossible because a bigger number cannot divide the smaller one. So what you will do is, since you know it is impossible, you simply add 0 to 8. So that makes it 30. So in this way, the 4 will be able to divide 30. Though there will be a remainder, but you still keep your remainder. So 4 divided by 30 will give us 7. 7, that's 7. You write your 7. Now after writing 7, you now say this 4 multiplied by this 7. You multiply this 4 by this 7, and that will give you 28. You write your 28. So after writing your 28, then you subtract this 30 by your 28. So when we subtract 30 from 28, we have 2. That will give us 2. So 2 is the final answer. So since we are still getting 2, we'll continue until we subtract and we get 0. So we still have to, you say 4 divided by 2. 4 cannot divide 2. 4 is bigger than 2. So we still do the same thing we did to this first place. We still do it here. So you say 4 divided by 20, then you add your 20, you add 0 to it to make it 20. So 4 divided by 20, 4 can go in 25 times. So you write your 5. Write your 5 here. Then after writing your 5, you say this your 4 multiplied by 5, that's 20. So you write your 20 here. Then you do the same thing, you subtract again. So when you subtract 20, that is, you take away. When you take away 20 from 20, you are going to have 0. Your final answer is 0. Okay, since you're already having 0 here, you can therefore put 0 in front of this 7 points. Then you can have 0 points. Since you're already having 0 as your final answer, you say 7.0 is 0.75. So your final answer is 0.75. So you have successfully converted 3/4, which is a fraction, to decimal. So our answer is 0.75. So this is how to convert a fraction to decimal. So let's do one more example. Let's convert one more fraction to decimal. Okay, another example is 1/2. That's 1 divided by 2. 1 divided by 2. So you do the same thing. You draw this line. This is this is the division sign. Then you put the bigger number in outside, you put the smaller one inside. So you say 2 divided by 1, it is impossible. Then you add your invisible 0. You add 0 to it. Then you can now say 2 divided by 10, that's 2 divide. How many times can you find 2 in 10? That's 5. So you write your 5. Then you say 5 times 2, this 5 multiplied by this 2, that's 10. So you write your 10 here. Then you subtract this 10 from this. So when you take away 10 from 10, what will you have left? You have 0. So since you have 0, you don't need to divide this 2 by 0 again because you have 0 already. So then you can now say, you can now bring this 0 up here. You can now bring it up here and get your 0.5. So that gives us 0.5. So 1 divided by 2 is equals to 0.5. So that's the final answer. Okay, so the next one is converting. Now that we are done with converting fractions to decimal, so we can also convert decimal into percentage. So the first one we have is 0.5. The first one we solved what is 0.75. So to convert this 0.75 to percent, you just simply say 0.75 multiplied by 100. So when you multiply 0.75 by 100, this 0 will cancel this 0. Then you have your 75%. So that's 75%. So 0.75 multiplied by 100 is going to give you 75%. So 0.75 will give us 75% in percentage. So the next one is 0.5. 0.5. So convert 0.5 to percentage. So you also do the same thing. Say 0.5 multiplied by 100. So when you multiply 0.5 by 100, it's going to give you 50%. You have your 50% as your percentage. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in my next class. Thank you.